Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. For me, it is usually it's just past midnight, right? But tonight, I'm running about 3 hours late. So it's about 7:45 Eastern Standard Time in the US. Here in Kyiv, it's 2:45 in the morning. Hey, Pete, what time is it where you are? It's like 1 a.m. almost. 12:45. I want to say. Good evening. Hey, Big Hawk. Yvonne, how you doing, brother? So for me, it's early Friday morning, the 23rd of January. Hey, Space Ghost. Hey, Joe, what do you know? It's going to be like that, but at least we have something. Hey, Dan Ballard. How you guys doing tonight? So, guys, for me, it is 2:45 a.m. here in Kyiv. And, hey, Marilyn, how you doing? Hey, Alan Bryce. Hey, Flying Sunbeams. Yeah, wait till I tell you the story. So, it's 2:45 in the morning. I'm 2 hours and 45 minutes late. On Friday, the 23rd of January, which makes this the news and events for January 22nd, day 1428 of Vladimir Putin's war of aggression against the people of Ukraine. If anybody sees Michael Nally come in, he is our sponsor for tonight. Big thanks to Mick Nally. I appreciate it. Hey, Rocco. And I appreciate everybody else coming in off the normal schedule. Thank you, Chopper Cordova. I'm glad to be here too. So as everybody knows, the situation in Kyiv is quite desperate. There's just no other way to put it. The situation in Kyiv is quite desperate. Nobody has any heat. At any given time, 60 to 70% of the city is without power. And when you do have power, as you will experience with me throughout this live, it is in and out. Now, we've been lucky because, generally speaking, with the backup system that I have, the internet works. That was not the case tonight. The internet went out. There was zero internet. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, why didn't you just switch over to your cell phone? You've done that before. You're right, I have. But in these kinds of situations, I think what happens is one failure leads to another. And last night, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the intense cold, the extended intense cold, or what. But I plugged the Ukrainian phone in last night to charge it, and it went black, and it never came back on. So on top of everything else, it looks like I need a new phone. Because boy, I got screwed tonight. When I didn't have that phone to make this live on the cellular network, I spent the last 5 hours pacing the apartment, completely isolated from the world. No way to reach out to anybody, no way to call anybody. On my American phone, I don't have an international plan. That's $720 a year. I don't have that kind of money for a phone that I'm never going to use, right? That's what the Ukrainian phone is for. So when I lost that Ukrainian phone last night, it really, really hurt us tonight. It really, really hurt us tonight. And Yvonne, I have a funny feeling that that's going to happen more than once in the course of tonight's live. Let's hope not, right? Let's hope it just stays on this time. That would be nice for a change. There are a couple things before we get into what's happening here in Ukraine, really. I do want to say for the Americans that are here, the French are making fun of us a lot for how we're protesting Donald Trump. The French would shut the country down until they got what they wanted. Well, the Americans are going to try that tomorrow. There are calls for a general strike tomorrow. If you're an American and you can take the day off and go join a protest in the streets, I encourage you to do so. It is so important that Americans of all stripes abandon the machine that keeps Donald Trump in power and takes to the streets. Take to the streets. Shut it down, or at the very least, stay home and do not answer your phone. Call off sick. Check the fuck out. Check the fuck out. You know, one of my first theater companies was called the Chaos and Order Theater Company. We were in a little independent theater company. We did original works, only original works, nothing published, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Schools are canceled. That's a good start. Oh yeah, there's a big storm coming through, right? Well, Cecil Hunter, I don't know what the fuck you're doing in my life if that's your attitude. You're only here to cause problems, obviously, because you are not on board with freeing ourselves from this fascist takeover in the United States, clearly. So that says to me you're probably not even an American, and you certainly don't belong here or deserve my content. Now, there's one other piece of business that I want to get done before we get into things. Weibo misses you all. He says to say hello. He cannot be here. He cannot be here. He's at work, and I promised him I would say hello to everybody from him if I could. Okay. So, guys, the situation in Kyiv is desperate. There's no two ways about it. I can relate to you some of the things that I have been told are happening. And I say it that way because, I don't read Ukrainian. I don't read Russian. I don't have access to a lot of the local news sources. But as you know, I have extensive contacts across this city. You've seen them in our comedy performances. You've seen them in our shows. You've seen them here as guests on the program. And this is what people are telling me. So my buddy Alex today mentioned that he had a friend from high school who, after 7 straight days of 16 to 20 hours a day, he's an engineer, an electrical engineer. After a week of nonstop triple shifts, working to try to get the electrical grid in some kind of working order, he was electrocuted yesterday and died, leaving a wife and a couple kids. We have reports that at least 2 workers have passed away from heart attacks and exposure on the job this past week. A neighbor of mine, not a neighbor of mine, a friend of mine, her neighbor, an elderly woman, went up on the roof and threw herself from it because she could not take another day of this. And I said there were going to be deaths from this thing. There were going to be deaths from this thing. And they're happening. I don't know what the death toll from this humanitarian crisis is going to be. But the report of the older woman who threw herself from the roof is not unique. It's not unique. Bear in mind that woman did survive. She is in the hospital. She has a bunch of broken bones. She is not in good shape, but she is not dead. She is not dead. It's a very difficult situation. And the Russians aren't letting up. I thought, because yesterday I had power for 5 hours, intermittently, like you'll see here, but I had power for 5 hours yesterday. I thought for sure today I would have power for 5 hours. The only thing is, last night, overnight, We saw 94 drones come in. Now, the Ukrainians managed to knock 80 of them out of the sky for an 87 or an 85% interception rate. But that means that 14 drones got through. And another couple power substations here in and around Kyiv were struck and disabled, probably right after they had been repaired. Now, you know me, I am happy to rejoice anytime the Ukrainians whack a Russian refinery that's just been repaired and take it out again, right? I'm happy to do that. But that refinery doesn't end up having old women throw themselves from the roofs because they cannot stand another day of this existence. Think about all the elderly people here in Kyiv who are living in their apartments in their high rises. The apartment is paid off. They think that their life is going to be good from now on. And suddenly they are in this situation where there is no power, there is no elevator, there is no heat. Does anyone want to explain to Boomer K-Town? Fucking boomers. Boomers destroyed the United States of America, first of all. And the idea that you don't understand that cell phone towers have their own power sources and are separate from the civilian grid goes to the point that the entire generation of American boomers were fucking handed everything, never had to think about a fucking thing, just handed it to them, and then didn't want to share it with anybody. Like, well, then why do you have a name like Boomer, you dumb cunt? Give me a fucking break. You know, I was talking to a guy like you, fucking sitting in Miller's restaurant in Jonestown, Pennsylvania, right? Boomer has ankle spurs, bone spurs, boomer spurs. Guy sitting in Miller's restaurant in Jonestown, Pennsylvania. And he was just asking questions. Boy, do you think this COVID thing is real? Do you think this COVID thing is real? Do you know what had happened again? Do you know what happened? Or who this guy was? Turns out he was a high school maths teacher. High school maths teacher. Maths, the most logical science there is. Pure logic. His education had been paid for by a National Education Foundation grant. His bachelor's paid for back in the 70s because we were expecting there to be a shortage of teachers. So we, the American taxpayer, paid to educate this son of a bitch. Paid for his bachelor's, paid for his master's, put him to work in the public school system. He spent 35 years working in the public school system, teaching our kids on the taxpayer's dime. And retired with a full pension. And do you know, he voted Republican his entire life. He voted for this. He voted to make sure that nobody else had a union that worked for them. He voted to make sure that the money kept coming into him through the system, but it didn't go to anybody else. It is that kind of unenlightened, short-term self-interest that has destroyed the United States of America. Destroyed it. We're talking about the tragic deaths of Kyivans in the midst of a humanitarian crisis. And you can't figure out why my fucking phone works. That's what's on your mind. Because your priorities are really just exactly the priorities of the entire spoiled, boomer generation, the entitled Americans who have never had to think for themselves at all. Disgusting. Morally bankrupt, intellectually slow. Yuck. Everything that's wrong with the United States of America in one fucking question from one entitled son of a bitch, ladies and gentlemen. Now, so last night, what we saw was the Russians send another 94 drones in. 14 of them got through. I may be a little bit on edge. Right, Van? I don't know what you're talking about with Tim Waltz. So, Van, I'll tell you, buddy. It is not easy, this thing with this. I mean, honest to God, man, I feel like I'm never going to be warm again. The cold goes down to my bones. Just trying to get a hot meal together in the dark is extremely difficult. Hey, Debbie. Not being able to do the laundry, not being able to do the dishes. If you could see the pigsty that my kitchen is, yeah, I do need help. This entire country needs help. We need the weapons that will defend this nation from the aggression of the Russians. You guys have been on my cooking section. Some of you have been on when we do cooking from Kyiv, right? And I always get comments about how clean the kitchen is, right? It is a disaster right now. It's a disaster. Sergey, it's a nightmare. My Ukrainian phone died. And so I didn't have any cellular service tonight to go live. I had no backup. The cell service is my backup. And the phone died yesterday. I don't know why. All I did yesterday was plug it in to charge it, and the screen went black, and that was the end of it. So then tonight, there was no power, no internet access, nothing. And we just got some power just now. So we're here. Because I owed a live tonight to McNally. And plus, I don't like to miss lives. I like to try to be consistent. I like to be here. Yeah. Thanks, Sergey. How you doing, pal? Fucking Elon. Who gives a shit about Elon? So I was saying that things here are very difficult. I wonder, should I take you in the other room? Here, let me grab the flashlight. And let's go over here for a second. Just to give you some idea of what we're dealing with here. This is the spare bedroom, right? This is the room we usually use for rehearsal. Right? What does that mean? That means that this room is less than 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius. The interior room of both bedrooms in the apartment are 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, with the electric on, I've got the electric heaters going, and they'll help to bring the place up to something reasonable, I hope, before too long. But it's a very difficult situation. Now, it's far less difficult for me, right? I'm a big guy. I spend a lot of time outdoors. I love nothing more than camping. I'd love to go camping, right? And the first week of this, it was an inconvenience. But it is starting to wear on me, boy. It's really starting to wear on me. And as the stories come in increasingly of the tragic deaths of elderly people in town, thank God I haven't heard anything about children. But one of the things that we know is happening, or we're going to find out has happened, is that lots of people are going to be found frozen to death in their apartments after this is over. 600,000 people fled the city, right? 600,000 people, according to Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor. 600,000 people have already fled the city. Hang on. Let me try and get that a little bit better. Because it's unlivable. You know, honest to God, the first week it was like it was a challenge to adapt, and figure out how I was going to manage it. But after a week of this, of sleeping in the kitchen, because the kitchen is the only place with heat, not being able to sleep, not being able to get any sleep. So fuck Trump. My name is Peter Alexeyevich, and I live in Kyiv, Ukraine. And we talk here about the Russo-Ukrainian war, right? Did any of the, I didn't even think to message the mods beforehand. Yeah, I'm trying, Akron, to see if any of them could be here. Well, with a name like Fuck Trump, I would think so. Okay. Guys, just point him out. I'll trash him. Oh my God, you're Danish. I'm so sorry about Trump, boy. So it's my opinion. One of the things that we talk about here. It's my opinion, because remember, this Greenland thing is not new with Trump, right? He first brought it up in 2019. And it is my opinion, all day long. Thanks, Paul. She's already gone, Tom. Hey, Daryl Roberts. It's my opinion that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are in cahoots, as we say in the United States. They are in it together. They are thick as thieves. Today, on a bunch of my videos, people were talking about, Putin has compromise on Trump. Putin's holding something over Trump's head. You don't have to hold anything over Trump's head. He is a willing participant in evil. If you can offer him, if you can feed his insatiable greed, his grandiosity, if you can butter him up, they are birds of a feather. If you can offer him riches beyond those of Solomon, he's with you, baby. He's happy to sell out the United States of America, our allies, and everything we are supposed to believe in order to line his own pockets or assuage his own ego. Anything at all to fill the emptiness inside his 300 pounds of dog shit and fake tan in an overpriced suit, right? So I don't think that it's a simple question of, he's been blackmailed by Putin all this time. No, I am convinced that he is in on it with him. And Greenland has been sold to him as the greatest accomplishment of any president since Abraham Lincoln. Donald, if you take Greenland, you will go down in history as the man who made America the second biggest country in the world second only to Russia. Right? Second only to Russia, Donald. And you will have hegemony in Americas, and I will have hegemony in Europe. We will move from an international rules-based order where people follow the rules and are rewarded. And instead, we'll go back to a multipolar world, spheres of influence, something our limited brains can understand and deal with, where the strong take what they want from the weak. And they divided up the world between them in their own minds, right? Donald gets the Americas, Putin gets Europe and Africa, or splits Africa with Xi in China, who also gets Asia. And there's your new multipolar world. The three great powers ready to exploit everyone. The only problem is Donald Trump has hitched his cart to a dying regime that is weak. Russia is not the USSR. Russia does not have either the resources or the intellectual capital that the USSR commanded. And Donald Trump in the United States is politically weak. I know it doesn't appear that way right now, but you see thousands of Americans on the streets against those ICE agents. Oh, yeah. Now, look, to me, it's just like Molotov-Ribbentrop, right? There was no, I don't think that's what he's saying, Ivan. I don't think that's what he's saying. If he says something else, we'll deal with it. But I think it's just that's a poorly punctuated sentence. Now, dig it. With Greenland, who wins? Nobody but Vladimir Putin. If America attacks Greenland, that will end NATO, something that Putin does not have the wherewithal to do himself. If America attacks Greenland, it could very well fracture the EU alliance. And there's already two players in place, Viktor Orban in Hungary, well, three now. You have the new president of Czechia, and then you have the Slovakian prime minister, and you have Orban in Hungary. Those three, they're going to pressure. Then you got the AfD in Germany and Marine Le Pen's party in France. I'm not saying it's going to happen, Akron. I'm saying that Vladimir Putin, is he pro-Russian? Is this guy pro-Russian? Okay. I'm trusting you guys. Look, I'm not saying that they can pull it off. I don't even know if Putin thinks he can pull it off. But even if he can't destroy NATO and fracture the EU, the United States attacking Greenland is the end of American power in the world. We lose all our friends, and it's allies that win wars. Look at Ukraine. I mean, my God, we are living through this nightmare of this humanitarian disaster, and everyone is trying to help. The Polish people, not even the government. The government did other things. I will say that. But the Polish people, in 3 days, raised $330,000 for generators for Kyiv. The Netherlands announced $28 million yesterday. The Spaniards and the Germans have both contributed. The Baltics, Lithuania, disassembled an entire Soviet thermal power plant, put it on 148 flatbeds and drove it to Ukraine. It's being reassembled right now. Generators from South Korea are being deployed. Italy sent 78 boilers that are right now being installed to get us heat, right? It's happening. France, and I'm talking, I'm not reading every question. What's your question? Well, I think part of the plan is for the United States to invade Canada too. I really do. I know that's totally crazy. Killing NATO is Trump's Christmas present to Vladdy. I agree. I absolutely think that that's what's going on. The last time Denmark sold an island to the U.S., Little St. James Island. Oh no, was Epstein Island part of the U.S. Virgin Islands? Because we bought them from the Danes, right? You know, Colin, that's what hurts me so much when I hear Trump say stupid things. We're in NATO. We do a lot for NATO. No president has ever done more for NATO than me. And what do we get out of it? Nothing. We get nothing out of it. We've never gotten anything out of it. We've never gotten a thing from anybody. Tell that to the mothers and fathers who buried their sons after Iraq and Afghanistan. We never got anything out of it. We're the only country that ever invoked Article 5, and everybody came to our aid. That is one of the great differences between the United States and Russia. Russia unilaterally invaded this nation for its own colonial, imperial ambitions. The United States didn't go into Iraq and Afghanistan alone. We went in with coalitions of dozens of other nations and unanimous UN Security Council resolutions, which, by the way, Putin voted for. Well, Putin's representative. How can Chez in Slovakia go pro-Russian? Boggles the mind. Money, 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 money. Mark a yen, a buck or a pound, a mark a yen, a buck or a pound. Makes the world go round, makes the world go round. That's how. Corruption. Russian corruption. I am convinced that if we can deal with the Kremlin and take Putin out, and only the Ukrainians can do it. They're the only ones in a position to do it. But if that can be done, that will end the flow of corrosive corruption, corrupting Russian money into the United States political system, and it will send us way down the field for our first goal, or for our first, what do they call that in football? A first down. Oh my God. I'm not a football fan. I shouldn't have gone for a football analogy. Okay, friends, and Canada is not a question. It's a country. It's not a fucking question. You know what? I'm done with you too. Well, Dirk Jan, I appreciate that. That is an important distinction to make. It is Trump that is the problem, not the United States. Leviathan is waking up in Venezuela. Whatever. Hey, JR. If he invades Greenland, that only emboldens Putin to go on. It'll make it very easy for Putin to go on because there won't be anybody to help the Ukrainians. Everybody's going to be tied up in Greenland. Hey, guard, give me a second. I'll tell the story again. Oh, I don't know, John. I think a lot of Czechs remember 1968. Well, I don't want to talk about my cousin, but my cousin's father was in Czechia in 1968, and his dad was dragged out onto the porch at 2 a.m. by the communists and shot dead in front of his two children. The family had to flee the country. I think you spelled bored wrong. I think it's B-O-R-E-D, Lev. I think you're talking about the bunch of dictators and authoritarians who are bored of peace. I mean, it's such a joke with $1 billion entry fee. Now, old and slightly grumpy makes a great point. Trump is only a symptom of the problem. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Oh, I've been fined again. Probably because I threw that bitch out. Okay. So, Trump is only a symptom. The fact that there are so many Americans who are ready to wipe their ass with the Constitution, so many Americans willing to take Vladimir Putin's money, either through intermediaries like Bashir al-Assad in the case of Tulsi Gabbard, the corruption, the open corruption is just unbelievable. Trump just literally abducted a foreign leader, then stole his oil, sold it on the open market, and put the money in a private bank account in Qatar that only he has access to. I mean, what world are we living in that that's a possibility even? Okay. Real quick, again, for Americans, tomorrow is a strike day in the United States. If you can take the day off, I strongly encourage you to do that. And if you can protest tomorrow, even better. Even better. Big shout out to Mick Nally, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Thank you, Mick. Really appreciate you. Thanks to Lars, who has the Discord server, Nightshade, who has the Peter's Peeps group, and of course, the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk. I see Feisty is here, Maddie is here. Was Roy here? I didn't see Travis at all. But there you go. So the strike tomorrow in the United States is a protest against what I consider to be a fascist regime that is in an active coup to subvert the federal system of government in the United States. That's how I see Donald Trump and his gang of goblins and ghouls. That's what they are, in my opinion. And so tomorrow is mostly about the ICE raids, because the ICE keeps saying they don't need warrants. Well, that's nonsense. We live in a country. What distinguishes us from the rest of the world is a constitution that protects us from that kind of government overreach. The Fourth Amendment is a real thing, and we have forgotten about it entirely. And it shows in Minneapolis. It shows in Minneapolis. So the idea of a strike is like what the French do. They shut the country down. They're having a problem with the government, they shut the country down. You grind the wheels of the engine to a stop. Now, and I cannot encourage that enough. I cannot encourage you to do that enough tomorrow. If I was there, I would do it. I assure you I would be doing that tomorrow. Or rather, not doing anything tomorrow. I want to thank everybody who sat through my rantings and ravings tonight. I apologize. I am definitely on edge. I was very frustrated when the Ukrainian phone died, The internet went out. I had no power for over 20 hours. I haven't showered in a couple days. The place is a disaster. It is freezing in here, as you saw before. I think I may need to leave Kyiv. Now, I'm supposed to be out of Kyiv from the 1st to the 21st anyway, but I'm thinking about leaving early. It's really getting to me. And the stories that are coming in of people who are dying because of this. The U.S. is founded on the power of rebellion. They ought to understand it. But we haven't had to do it for so long. Well, no, sir. Hey, what I was thinking about doing, because I have to be in Warsaw to catch my flight for my buddy's wedding, because I'm supposed to be on vacation, right? For the first time in 3 years, I'm going to my buddy's wedding. My buddy is my age. We went to college together. We're friends for 40 years. This is his first marriage. He has managed to avoid it. I thought for sure he was going to be a bachelor forever. No, he has met a girl. They are getting married, a woman, and they are getting married. And he seems very happy about it. Lars, I couldn't see that. I wanted to, but as you can see, my life is pretty limited right now. Yeah, thanks, TK. A lot of people say I look better this way, like in low resolution. So yeah, I definitely am on edge. I am. Probably, Lars. So, yeah, I think I better call it a night before I say something really stupid and get myself banned for life, which is probably going to happen anyway. But I feel incomplete without a live. Thank you, Bull Rock. You know, I'm not a Jameson fan, but my buddy said the strangest thing to me one time here. He said that what they sell here in Jameson bottles is not Jameson. And I mean, I don't know enough to tell the difference, but he assured me that in Ukraine, it's not Jameson in the bottle. Now, I don't know that that's true. Colin, that's exactly what I'm letting happen here. Because I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. Everybody here is exhausted. Everybody here is frozen to the bone. It's a very difficult situation. Who can't get absinthe? In the United States, sure you can. Absinthe's been legal in the U.S. for 20 years already. I ought to know. I used to have it shipped from London. I was so glad when I could stop that expense. They're not even real people, Clem. Their IP addresses are all St. Petersburg. They're professional agitators. See, this is why the right is always accusing the left of paid agitators. Because they do it. Because they do it. And it was Putin who started it. I guess there are, John. I'm a little bit old for that. Well, Mike Kelly, you're an intelligent person with good taste. Thanks, Bobby. A little off topic, but also very relevant, I thought. Let me end, actually, Bobby, with that, because I do have a prediction on Greenland. We know that Trump's yesterday at Davos said that he was not going to use force to take Greenland. He was not going to do the tariffs against our European allies. However, today, Witkoff and Kushner were summoned to the Kremlin to meet with Putin after Davos, and they went. It is my belief that they are going to go back to Trump, and Putin is going to tell them to tell him, get back on Greenland. Get back on Greenland. What I need from you is for you to start shit over Greenland. Because the only person that wins with Greenland is Vladimir Putin. And he is desperate for a win. His own people are going to tear him limb from limb. If he's been trying to take the Donbass for 12 years, and he is only 40 miles from where he started in 12 years, it is not going well for him. Not at all. I don't know that Thujon is the good part, TK's daddy. I mean, it's a muscle paralytic that will stop your heart if you take too much of it. But it is the most lucid drunk I have ever had, that's for sure. Richard, the restrictions are all gone. What's his name? Ted LaRue out of Louisiana, out of New Orleans, brewed the first legal bottle of absinthe in the United States back in, gosh, I want to say 2012. I think it was 2000. That's 14 years ago now. It was sold under the name, you can look this up if you can Google right now. When was the first bottle of Lucid produced? It's Ted, if it's not LaRue, Ted, I forget his name. But anyway, a Cajun guy, a Louisianan, down in New Orleans, brewed the first legal bottle of absinthe in the United States, sold it under the brand name Lucid. And I think it hit store shelves back in 2012. It is awful. It is disgusting. It's like drinking gasoline. Vieux Carré I find very drinkable, as well as Lafay. But I don't like Lafay. It's got artificial coloring in it. Well, Nan, as you can see, the power is in and out. So the hot water heater was up to 57 right before I got Celsius, right before I got on this live. So by now, even with the power in and out, I should be able to take a shower right now. Sarah Bradshaw, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, Sarah reminded me today the French are getting in on the act of seizing Russian Shadow Fleet ships and seized, are you ready for this? The French seized the Shadow Fleet ship, the Grinch. No joke, that's its current name, the Grinch. How was the turkey thigh? It was good, Akron. It really came out very nice. It was tender. It was moist. It was flavorful. I wasn't crazy. I mean, the beef stock added nice flavor. I'm not saying it didn't. But I would have preferred a chicken stock. It sort of clashed. But overall, I mean, for the kind of cooking I'm having to do here, I was very happy with it. I would have been proud to serve that to any one of you. MAGA only drinks gas and eats eggs anyway. You grow wormwood, do you, Richard? A little Artemisia absinthium. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, final thoughts, anybody? It's 3:33. For those of you that do angel numbers, it's 3:33. Again, shout out to Weibo, who can't be here and he misses all of you. He told me to tell you. Big thanks to McNally, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Oh, yeah, John. It's a good thing I'm not epileptic. I'd be having a seizure. But this is how it is. If we're lucky, this is how it will be for the next few hours. If we're lucky. And they stay on enough like this. Are there more home fires trying to stay warm? As I understand it, right now in Kyiv, there are over 5,600 high-rise apartment buildings like my own, with no power, no heat, some with no water. We've been very lucky. The water has been on most of the week. Yeah. Well, John, that's not going to be a thing, pal. But in the current crisis, I'm very happy to be here. So there are over 5,600 apartment buildings just like mine. Now, it is worth pointing out that 600,000 Kyivans have left the city. 600,000. That's, if there's about 4 million people in town, what percentage is that? About 15, 17%, something like that? Bobby, there are kind of some upscale places that have invested in their own generators. So their elevators are running, they have heat, or they have lights, and if you have power, you can run electric heaters, and you have heat too. But all over the city heat and the city hot water have failed. There has been no city hot water in Kyiv for nearly 2 weeks. If your only source of hot water, if you don't have your own boiler, which most people do not here, if you don't have your own hot water heater, you haven't had hot water in 2 weeks. It's a very difficult situation. It is a humanitarian crisis created by a genocidal lunatic who cannot win on the battlefield, so he must punish the people of Ukraine and drive them into submission. That's what's going on here. What about water for toilets? Every time there's power, I refill them. You got to fill the water jugs, buddy. That's all there is. So right now I have stored let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and there's another 6 under the sink. So 6 plus 15 is 22. 22 times 6 is 132. I have 132 liters of non-potable water available for flushing toilets, washing dishes, just boiling. Here, I'll show you I hate to show you the kitchen because it's a disaster. Well, here, I might as well, right? Look. You can see I brought part of the sectional in from the living room because I'm sleeping in here. This is the only room with heat. And then if you look over here, oh, these stupid puzzle pieces. And then if you look over here, oh gosh, I wish the lights would come back on. Hold on, let me get the thing here. Okay. So now, if you look, you can see this is a 16-liter pot of water, and I keep that boiling to provide heat to the house, basically. And then these burners are on. This burner will not go on, so I only have these three to work with. But that is how I'm getting through. And I'm a lucky one, right? I'm very lucky. I have my own hot water heater. So when there's electricity, I have hot water. I have a gas range. I can make a hot meal. Other people have been unable to do that for 2 weeks. It's crazy. It's crazy time. It's like camping, Mike Kelly. It is. It is. And really, I love to camp. I mean, I love being outside. But this is just awful. And oh God, to make matters worse, to lose that phone. And I don't know why that phone died. I don't know if it was the intense, extreme cold, or what it was. But yeah, I plugged it in yesterday and it's just dead. And without it tonight, I couldn't do the live at the regular time because there was no internet. And the cell, I have no self-service on the American phone. Are there communal kitchens? There are actually. In different communities, various communities around Kyiv, there are communal kitchens where the community is coming out helping each other, right? And then there's also the city has what they call points of invincibility set up. So you can go to these places, you can get inside, there's heat, you can charge your phone, there's a hot meal. And these are all, I think there's 128 of them all over Kyiv. You know, Colin, I appreciate that feedback. And I was kicking myself today because I knew all day the cell phone with the cell service is my backup. And I let it go. I didn't go to the store because I don't want to spend the money, right? Like I have this travel coming up. The last thing I need is to have to buy a new fucking cell phone. Like that is the last thing on my list. I was very, very unhappy about it. It is not something I need right now. So I don't know. I have to go see if I can get the data off it tomorrow. Anyway. What else? Final thoughts, guys? And look, nobody should feel sorry for me. I'm not looking for pity. I am looking for forgiveness for being such an asshole earlier. I am sorry about that. I'm definitely chafing at the bit a bit. I definitely am. And if I'm like that, with all of my advantages, with all of my good fortune, with my own, Weebo, what are you doing here? Motherfucker, and I said hi to you twice in this. I apologize, Mike. I do. I really do. And I'm not looking for sympathy. My goal here, and why I thought it was important to do this tonight, is because of what I'm increasingly hearing about the devastating impacts of this cold on the people of Kyiv, on my neighbors and my neighbors' friends, you know, and relatives in one case. It's a shit situation. It sure is. Thanks, Mike. Ha, Colin, you should be happy all the time. You look like a happy guy, pal. Anything else? You know, the other thing I keep I don't know if this is me just like unraveling now or what, but I was thinking I should really get out of town because God forbid I actually get sick and really sick. And the one vacation in 3 years I'm supposed to have to my buddy's wedding, I can't go. Oh my God, I would be out of my mind. I would be out of my mind. And even worse than that, suppose I was really sick and I had to go to the hospital and I had to take resources from Ukrainians that need it right now. I don't want to be that person. I do not want to be that person. I don't want to be responsible for that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. The good news is there is a warming trend predicted. This upcoming week, we will see, I think Wednesday and Thursday of this upcoming week, we see highs hit 40. So we're going to finally break through the sub-freezing barrier. We have not had a temperature above freezing since New Year's Day. Thanks, little red. So, guys, anything else? Questions, comments? Well, John, I wouldn't fly. I wouldn't change the plane because that's very expensive, right? What I'd probably do is just go to Poland and try to find some cheap hotel that was warm and within walking distance of a Burger King. Man, one of the things I really miss in Ukraine, they got no Burger Kings. First thing I do when I go to Poland is go to Burger King. And Mike Kelly, that's really what I need is sleep. Man, I'll tell you, I mean, the last 2 nights in a row, I was up until 6 a.m. for no other reason than because I was freezing and I couldn't go to sleep. Well, no, Feisty, you know. Oh, a double Whopper with cheese, man. That'll make you sick. You're probably not wrong, Mike. Oh, Bobby, I love the Impossible Burgers. Love them. I don't like the fries, though. I go to McDonald's for fries. I'm a connoisseur. Oh, Clive, it makes you crazy. Onion rings, Mike Kelly, you know it. It's not the same, Bull Rock. It's not the same. I don't know, William. I'm going to take it down to Vodafone tomorrow and see if they can tell me what happened to it. I don't know what's wrong. I plugged it in yesterday and the screen went black. It was non-responsive to being plugged in. It's non-responsive to the power button. I don't know what happened. Oh, John. The nearest Burger King to me, I think I did look it up one time. I think it's 436 miles. Miles, not kilometers. I've been very disappointed with I had a Filet-O-Fish not that long ago, and I was very disappointed by it. They've really gotten small. When I worked at McDonald's as a kid, the Filet-O-Fish was huge. Huge. Now you have this big bun and this tiny little patty. This is very disappointing. All right, I'm going to call it a night, guys. Yeah, shrinkflation, right? DoorDash will deliver. Oh, that's funny. Shrinkflation. Night, Feisty. Feisty, thanks for jumping on off hours. Thanks, Maddie, for for jumping on off hours. Thanks, everybody, for your patience with me. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.